I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like, everybody they tiptoe around with this social media. But what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequences for that.
Imagine being months removed from a breakup, healing, rebuilding, finding pieces of yourself again.
Then suddenly, you get a voice note.
From him. And not just any message, but one that unpacks every regret he's carried in silence. That's what just happened to Teyana Taylor. A voice message allegedly from Iman Shumpert has leaked, and it's breaking the internet, and possibly breaking hearts all over again. In it, he says just 6 simple, soul-hitting words. I still want my family back.
People are stunned.
After everything, now this? Is this a real attempt at healing, or just a man too late to the table he once left?
It wasn't always like this.
There was a time when Teyana and Iman felt like a real-life love story unfolding in front of our eyes. They weren't just a couple, they were a brand, a movement, a vibe.
Black love at its finest. Stylish, talented, bold.
They had the kind of chemistry that didn't feel performative. It was loud in the way they protected each other, and soft in the way they looked at each other. From red carpet kisses to raw moments on reality TV, they showed us the power of partnership. Their wedding in 2016 felt like the beginning of a legacy. Then came Junie, their bright, expressive daughter who became a fan favorite, and later their second child, and their family just seemed full.
Complete.
But sometimes what looks whole on the outside is quietly breaking on the inside. And over time, the cracks became harder to hide. There were signs, whispers, and rumors. Fans noticed a change, less of Iman in her photos, more cryptic captions, less interaction between the two.
But no one wanted to say it out loud.
When Teyana finally broke the silence in 2023, she did it with grace.
She confirmed they had split.
She used words like peaceful, mutual, and no drama. But when a bond like that ends, the pain doesn't care how pretty the language is. It still cuts. Fans respected how grown they were about it, but that didn't stop the ache. People held on to the idea that maybe, just maybe, they'd find their way back. And now, this voice note has people questioning whether that door was ever really closed in the first place. The note itself?
Chilling. Honest. Vulnerable.
Iman's voice isn't polished or rehearsed. It's shaky, full of regret. I miss you, he says, with a kind of softness we haven't heard from him publicly in a long time. I still want my family.
Then he starts reflecting. About Teyana's laugh.
About the sound of Junie running through the house.
About Sunday mornings.
About quiet nights that now just feel empty. There's a line where he says, "We built something real. I can't let it die like this."
And it hits hard.
Because he's not talking about fame or status. He's talking about the little moments, the foundation,
the kind of memories you can't fake.
And that's why this message is hitting people so deeply. Because it doesn't sound like a man trying to win back a woman for the spotlight.
It sounds like a man trying to find his way back home.
But here's the twist. Teyana isn't chasing the story. She hasn't posted any fiery response or gone live to clear the air. Instead, she posted one quiet, powerful quote. Healing alone is the real flex.
No tag. No name. Just a statement.
And honestly, it says everything. For some fans, that quote screamed, "I'm done."
Like she's found peace and isn't letting anyone shake it. Others read it as heartbreak.
Like maybe she still cares, but knows better than to reopen a door that once wounded her. People close to her say she's in her zone, focused on acting projects, expanding her creative empire, keeping her energy clean.
She's not chasing headlines. She's protecting her heart. Meanwhile,
Iman has gone completely silent.
No follow-ups. No clarifications. No denials. Just a voice message that's now echoing louder by the day.
Social media? Utterly unhinged. The digital streets haven't been this chaotic in a while, and everyone seems to have an opinion, a theory, or a take that absolutely must be shared. TikTok has been flooded with emotional edits of old clips featuring Teyana and Iman, holding hands backstage, dancing together in dimly lit kitchens, hugging on red carpets, laughing in slow motion over lo-fi music. These videos, once simple moments captured in time, are now being reframed as artifacts of a love story that might not be over. Every glance, every smile, every touch is now up for interpretation, as if people are trying to rewrite history through nostalgia. Twitter is no better. Threads upon threads are dissecting every word from the now infamous voice note, treating it like a literary text. Each pause, each sigh, each carefully chosen word is being pulled apart for hidden meanings.
Was that regret in his tone? Was he confessing? Begging? Manipulating?
People are arguing in quote tweets, going back and forth about intentions and context. Instagram stories, meanwhile, have become digital vision boards of heartbreak and reflection. They are full of quotes about growth, boundaries, emotional closure, and the painful realization that love doesn't always equate to health. One viral comment hit a nerve across platforms. He watched her rebuild herself from scratch, and now he wants in. The rawness of that sentiment echoed for hours as users reposted it, adding their own stories of being rebuilt only to be revisited. Another popular comment, equally cutting, said, "Classic story.
She healed. She glowed up."
And now he's spinning the block. That one seemed to summarize the general feeling across much of the online space, that this wasn't new, that many had seen this pattern before. Someone leaves, someone grows, and then suddenly the past wants to return. Not because it's changed, but because it's comfortable. The hashtags reflect the division, #Team Teyana, #Let Her Heal, #Protect Your Peace. And yet, there's also a large group pushing for reconciliation, clinging to the narrative of true love finding its way back. Comments like "they've come too far to give up now" and "that kind of love doesn't just disappear" flooded the timelines. The internet is torn in two, some hoping for closure, others yearning for a sequel. No one can seem to agree. Do we root for healing, or do we root for one last chapter in a love story we all watched unfold in real time? Then came the inevitable, the fan theories. Because this is 2025, and nothing stays simple for long. Speculation thrives in this digital age, and the more complicated the theory, the faster it spreads. One theory circulating suggests that the voice note that reignited all this wasn't leaked at all, it was intentionally released. A strategic move, some believe, meant to stir emotions, reclaim public sympathy, or possibly force Teyana's hand in some quiet behind-the-scenes situation. The tone, the timing, the delivery, it all felt too calculated for some fans to believe it was random. Another theory, no less viral, claims that Iman may be going through something deeply personal. The idea is that this wasn't about clout or attention at all, it was a raw, unfiltered moment of vulnerability.
A possible mental health battle.
Maybe grief.
Maybe he's experiencing a family crisis. And this voice note? It wasn't planned.
It was the emotional release of a man who had reached his breaking point.
The theories don't stop there. Some fans are looking at this through an industry lens.
They are speculating that this whole situation, this sudden wave of attention, is actually part of a carefully orchestrated soft rollout.
A podcast. A docuseries.
A tell-all project where both parties get to narrate their truth, together or apart. After all, media is power. And in an age where control over your own story is everything, the idea doesn't sound so far-fetched. But perhaps the most talked-about theory, the one that really has people divided, is the idea that this was all about timing. That Iman's message wasn't meant just for reflection or healing, but for interruption. Some believe he caught wind that Teyana had been spending time with a certain high-powered producer, someone new, someone respected, and maybe even romantically linked.
And then, coincidentally or not, the voice note drops.
The timing feels too perfect to be an accident. Was it a last-ditch attempt to reinsert himself into her life? To block someone else from getting too close? Still, behind all the hot takes, trending tags, and overanalyzed theories, there's something more real humming beneath the surface, something far more human than fame or gossip. This isn't just about celebrities or internet drama.
It's about grief.
It's about the complicated wreckage that lingers after a love that once felt unshakable begins to crack. It's about two people who once built a life together. Shared toothbrushes, grocery lists, late-night talks, fights over nothing, moments that made them believe they'd found forever. And now, all of that has turned into silence, into memory, into speculation.
The voice note? That wasn't just a message.
That was a man wrestling with regret, trying to reach for something that might already be gone. Regret not just over Teyana, but over the everyday magic they shared. The morning routines, the laughter during errands, the rhythm of living together. His words weren't polished. They were soaked in longing, in the ache of what once was.
And Teyana?
Her silence is louder than any statement she could have made. It's the kind of silence that's heavy, deliberate. The kind that says, "I've cried all I can. I've said all I needed to say. I've chosen myself now."
It's the strength that doesn't need to prove itself anymore. Because people often don't understand the kind of courage it takes to walk away from someone you still love. To say, this is hurting me more than it's healing me, and to actually act on it. That's not weakness. That's growth. That's clarity. She likely spent nights sitting in the quiet, sorting through the pieces of herself she gave away, figuring out how to get them back without burning down the good memories. Now, what's at stake isn't image or headlines. It's emotional safety. It's the future of their children. It's their separate paths toward healing, both personal and possibly public. It's about truth, not just in the PR sense, but in the emotional, spiritual sense. What is their truth now? Can that truth include each other again? Or is that chapter permanently closed? That's the question everyone keeps asking, but the only two people who can answer it aren't speaking. And maybe that's okay. Maybe some stories aren't meant to have clean conclusions. Maybe this one is about learning that love doesn't always equal forever. Sometimes, it equals growth. Sometimes, it equals letting go. And sometimes, if the timing is right and the healing is mutual, it might just equal one more chance. But until then, all anyone can do is watch, wonder, and wait. Because for a lot of us watching, this isn't just about two celebrities. This feels personal. Like watching a friend go through something you've been through yourself. That ex who pops up out of nowhere. That person who finally gets it, but only after you've picked up the pieces alone. So now, people are asking, can co-parenting turn into reconciliation? Or is this just Iman's final goodbye, wrapped in regret and sent through a voicemail? Can you really go back after the damage is done? Or is healing the only way forward? So now I'm asking you, if someone broke your heart, then showed up with an emotional plea, what would you do? Could you trust them again? Would you even want to? Let's talk about it in the comments. Was this a love worth saving, or is the chapter closed for good? Tap like if you've ever had someone circle back when you were just starting to breathe again. And don't forget to subscribe, because this story, it's far from over. And when the next twist drops, you already know, we'll be right here to break it all down.